people have been asking me to address the question of vocations in the Catholic Church. So that is what I'm going to address in a few. Vocations. Sometimes when we hear about vocations, we are confused and we don't know what exactly is a vocation. I'm explaining vocations in the context of the Catholic Church. Other churches may have maybe a different perspective of what a vocation is, but what I'm going to share is the perspective of the Catholic Church. Kanisa la Bwana litasimama wakati wote wa Shetani. Kanisa la Bwana litasimama wakati wote wa Shetani kwa furaha, kwa furaha, kwa furaha tutafurahi kwenda mbinguni tukila matunda ya uzima kwa furaha, kwa furaha, kwa furaha, kwa furaha tutafurahi kwenda mbinguni tukila matunda ya uzima. Msalitumwa kule Sinai kutuletea amri 10. Msalitumwa kule Sinai kutuletea amri 10 kwa furaha, kwa furaha, kwa furaha tutafurahi kwenda mbinguni tukila matunda ya uzima kwa furaha, kwa furaha, kwa furaha tutafurahi kwenda mbinguni tukila matunda uzima. So guys, when we talk about vocation in the Catholic Church, some people get confused. Maybe they think a vocation is maybe a career, it is a job. You know, there are different connotations when you refer to a vocation in the Catholic Church. So I'm going to address that issue this afternoon. So basically, when you talk about vocation in the Catholic Church, you are making reference to a specific calling. A vocation is a specific calling. And in the Catholic Church, we mainly have 3 kinds of vocations. Not 3, we have 4 kinds of vocations in the Catholic Church. The very first one that we have is married life. Married life is a vocation. Sometimes people are confused and they think when you talk about vocation, maybe you are just making reference to religious life. No, the very first vocation that the Catholic Church recognizes is the vocation to marriage life. And when you talk about marriage, it is basically the coming together of a couple. Coming together of a couple. And a couple in this case, it has to be a man and a woman. Not a man and a man, not a woman and a woman. In the Catholic Church, marriage is recognized between a man and a woman. So when a man and a woman decide we are going to leave our parents and then we unite so that we live our life as married couples, that is a vocation, and it is a very important vocation in the Catholic Church. So as they get married, the couples are supposed to support one another. When they come together, there is a possibility of having kids as a married couple. But it may also happen that you get married, yes, but then maybe you delay to get kids, or maybe God does not bless you with kids. This is not ground for you to start looking for divorce because maybe your partner is not able to have kids. When you commit to marriage, just go for it, knowing that what brought you together was the love between the two of you. If you are able to have your own biological kids, then all glory to God. You thank God for the gift of the children. Children come in as a gift. But marriage is between a couple, a man and a woman. A man and a woman decide to live together, and they should be happy together no matter what happens. If you are not able to have kids, there are always alternatives. You can adopt, or maybe you can get a relative's child so that you stay with them. Or you can still be happy together with your partner because you chose to live together for good and for worse. So marriage is a very key vocation in the Catholic Church. And through marriage, we are able to enrich the other vocations because everybody else, be it a religious, be it a priest, they first of all come from the family. So marriage life is the most important vocation, if I may say, because if we do not have marriage, then where shall we have people to join these other vocations that we have in the Catholic Church? So if you have chosen to live as a married person, it is a high calling. Thank God for it and embrace it. If you are able to have children, thank God. If you are not able to have children of your own, still appreciate your partner because you chose them and God had a reason for that. So appreciate and live happily. Beban from India, thank you for your comment. And then the second vocation that we have in the Catholic Church is the vocation to religious life. Vocation to religious life. This basically means a man or a woman decides not to get married, not to live alone, but to live with fellow sisters or fellow brothers in a community. They live as consecrated persons. Consecrated persons, that means they choose to live vowed life. So they are bound by the vows of chastity, poverty, and obedience, and they live in a community. In marriage, two couples choose to live together and they can choose where to live. They can decide where to live. But in religious life, they live in the context of a community. Within a community, at least, you are accountable to one another. Stacy, Black America. Hi, Stacy, how are you? Glad to have you here. So yes, the religious are consecrated. They are set apart and they are not going to commit to marriage. When you choose religious life, it doesn't mean that you are also going to live as a married person. You cannot choose both vocations at a go. You can only live one vocation at a time. So if you choose to become a religious person, no, you are consecrating your life to Jesus Christ and you are bound by vows and you live within the context of a community. So you serve God as a religious person. So we have religious brothers and we have religious sisters. But we also have another vocation in the Catholic Church, which is the holy orders, the priesthood. Priesthood is a vocation in the Catholic Church. Now, as a priest, you can choose either to be a diocesan priest, or you can choose to be a religious priest. Being a religious priest, first of all, it means you are a consecrated person. First of all, you've chosen to live in a community, and you are bound by vows. And then you are now ordained as a minister. So priests have that option. They can live as a religious person, but also an ordained minister. So those are religious priests. They are bound by vows, and they are also ordained ministers. So it's like a double vocation, but yes, so it is possible for the priests to be religious. But priests can also choose just to be priests without being religious priests. So they are priests, yes, but they live in a parish. So you'll find maybe 1, 2, or 3 priests living within a parish. These ones are not bound by the vows of chastity, poverty, and obedience, but they take oaths, they promise obedience to their bishop, and they also take oaths to live a celibate life. They live a celibate life so that they are free from distractions of serving the Lord. That is why they choose to be celibates. So they are living chastity, yes, but not in the context of a community. The religious priests, they are bound by vows, and they are also ordained ministers. So they live within a religious community. And then finally, in the Catholic Church, we have another vocation, which is single life. Single life is a vocation in the Catholic Church. So basically, one chooses to live alone so that they are able to serve the Lord in their capacity without being distracted. Because they are single, they will not be thinking about maybe their kids. They will not be thinking about their husbands and, many other responsibilities that may come about maybe because of marriage or so. So when you choose to be single, it is a choice that you make. And if at one point you are single, but you decide maybe you want to get a partner, then that is not a single vocation. It means now you are entering into marriage. So you will be in that vocation of the married people. So single people choose to be single. They choose to remain single for the rest of their lives so that they can serve God. But the moment they decide to terminate it, then it is no longer a single life. Sometimes you find people maybe who are calling themselves single mothers or single fathers. This one is a bit different. Maybe someone attempted marriage, but then because of one reason or another, the marriage was just not working. So that one is a different situation. For the single, they choose to be single from the word go, and they are not committed to marriage. Most of them, they stay on their own, and they may not have children. Yeah, so those are the 4 vocations that we have in the Catholic Church. I don't know which one is yours. Mine is religious life. I live a life consecrated to Christ through the vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. And one may wonder, how do I know the kind of calling that I have? I think it is about discernment, and discernment is a process. You don't just wake up one morning and then you decide, I want to get married. No, it is something that you have to take time to reflect on. It's something that sorry, my internet was acting. So as I was saying, for you to discover the kind of vocation that you belong to, you have first of all to pray, and you have to reflect. Is this the kind of person that I want to spend the rest of my life with? That is why people have to take time to get to know each other before entering into a serious commitment. You don't just wake up one day and say, I want to get married to so and so. You don't even know them. You don't know their dark side. You don't know their positives. But when you take time to learn these people, then your life becomes much easier. You may wonder why people who join religious life or the priesthood, they take a very long time in the formation, being prepared. Why? Because it is a vocation that you are going to live for the rest of your life. So it is a decision that you need to make when you are sober enough. That is why it has to take time for you to reflect upon your life, get time to interact with these people, get to know them, get to know the way they live. And in that way, you are able to tell whether you are happy in that religious life or not, whether you are able to keep up with the standards of that required vocation or not. If you are not able, then after some time you will realize, this is not where God is calling me. And then through that you will be able to make a sober decision. You'll be able to make an informed decision. You'll say, I don't belong here, but I think I can do better in that other vocation. Today you'll find many young people getting into marriage, and then the next day you hear maybe they have divorced. Why? Maybe they never took time to discern their vocation. They just met this person and very fast they entered into an agreement and they got married without reflecting upon their lives, without taking time to learn each other's shortcomings as well as the positives. So if you are planning to enter into any kind of vocation, make sure that you take time to learn the people you are going to live with, so that you will not regret a short while after entering into that commitment. Oh, George, Sister Lydia, I just joined. Can you please tell about the topic of the day? Oh, George, I was just talking about the different kinds of vocations that you have in the Catholic Church. Vocations, when we talk about vocations, sometimes people get confused and they think maybe a vocation is a career or something. So I was explaining vocation in the context of the Catholic Church. It refers to a special calling that you receive from the Lord. And in the Catholic Church, we recognize 4 kinds of vocations. The very first one is the vocation to married life. Married life is a vocation from Christian. And this is where the couple comes together and they decide to live together. And a couple in this case, it means a man and a woman. The Catholic Church only recognizes the relationship between a man and a woman. So if you are entering into marriage in the Catholic Church, have to be a man and a woman, not a man and a man, and not a woman and a woman. And then when you decide to live together as a couple in marriage, it may happen that God will bless you with kids of your own. Children come as a blessing. But it may also happen that when you are in your marriage, you are not able to have kids. That will not be right for you now to start looking for divorce. No? Because the marriage was between you and your partner. It was not between you and your partner. So if God does not bless you with kids, there are always options you can, and you can take your relatives to marriage. also be a harvest stream as a tree. It doesn't have to be right in this trying to enter into marriage. You are bound, then nothing can pull you apart. The God said the Bible clearly says. And then another decision that we have in the Catholic Church is the holy religious life. This is where either a man or a woman decide not to marry. When they decide not to marry, as they decide to be consecrated to the Lord through the vows of sanctification that is instituted. And then they live within a community. While a man and a woman can decide where to live, in most cases in the African context, it means a woman goes to the man goes to stay in the monastery. But you can also decide to buy a family your own religion. But in religious life, now you live with maybe because I'm a sister, I get to live with other sisters within community. So I'm accountable to these people within this community. They become my family. And if it is a man, the man goes to live with other men who have also chosen to live that kind of consecrated life within a community setting. So they are also accountable to their community members. And then I talked about the calling to priesthood. Priesthood is also a vocation in the Catholic Church. So as a priest, you can either be the diocesan priest, and diocesan priests mostly they live within a parish. You'll find 1, 2, 3, or maybe up to 5 priests living within a parish if the parish is so big and so it needs more personnel. The diocesan live within a particular diocese and they are restricted to working within that diocese. Unless there is need in a different diocese, then the bishop maybe can talk and a bishop can send this priest to the other parish. If not, then the priest is restricted within that particular parish, that particular diocese. So if you have to go for transfer, it has to be within that diocese because you are a diocesan priest. But there are also priests who are consecrated persons, priests who are in religious life, the priests who live like us sisters. So for them, yes, they are consecrated, so they are bound by vows of chastity, poverty, and obedience. So most of the time they do not live within a parish, but they live in a community. They live in a community with other brother priests. So their vocation is both religious, you have to live within a community, and then you are also an ordained minister. Then another vocation that we talked about is the calling to single life. Single life is whereby the person decides, I'm not going to get married and I am not going to join religious life so that I am bound by vows, but I want to serve God as a single person. They want to serve God as a single person so that they are not distracted by other responsibilities that may come about because of maybe being in marriage life. You might be married and you are thinking about your husband and your kids. But if you are not married, you are living as a single person, and then you are able to serve God in that capacity without having to be distracted. Yeah, so that is the single life. And I mentioned that sometimes you find people who are single parents, either a single mother or a single father. Now, this one is different. I can't really refer to it as a vocation. Someone may become single maybe because of the circumstances. Maybe they entered into marriage in an agreement with someone. So they were intending to be in marriage, but then the marriage didn't work, it failed. That one is quite different. For the singles, it is a choice that they make from the word go. single person. So yeah, that is what I had said. And I was saying, for whatever vocation, you don't just rush into it. Like, you have to pray about it. You have to reflect. Take time to reflect about the vocation. If you are entering into marriage, take time to learn the person that you are going to spend the rest of your life with. Don't just wake up one morning and decide, I want to marry this one. No. Get to know that person. What are the weaknesses of this person? Are the weaknesses something that I can tolerate? If you can't tolerate the weaknesses, then you do not have to enter into that covenant with this person, because you know it is not going anywhere. If you can't tolerate me, then you can't stay with me. So it is good to be safe and keep ourselves Christians. And it is only through prayer and reflection, taking time to learn one another, that you can be able to enter into this covenant and you live happily thereafter, for good or for worse. And if I'm choosing religious life, of course I also have to take time. In religious life, we usually have seminars. Come and see seminars whereby, if I'm intending to join a particular congregation, I'll go spend some time with them. Maybe a week, it may be even up to a month or so. I go spend time with them, just learn the way they live, interact with them, pray with them. In that way, I am actually discerning my vocation. If I see that the way they live is not appealing to me, that may be a signal to me that maybe that is not the right congregation where God is calling me to. So I will have an alternative to visit other congregations and also discern with them. That is the only way you are able to make the right decision, and then you will not be able to regret thereafter. So I said, in everything, take time to reflect, pray about it, because you also need God's guidance. Otherwise, you can find yourself totally lost and confused. I hope we are together, God. I hope you have followed. So there's no way you can live two vocations at a day. Even the Bible says you cannot serve two masters. One of them is going to suffer. If you are a religious and maybe over time you have reflected, you have discerned, and you realize, no, I don't think I fit in this religious life. Maybe I can fit on the other side of marriage. You have to terminate this one, religious life, and then you be officially enrolled into that other vocation. But you cannot be a religious person and at the same time you are married. That is serving double standards. And God doesn't approve of that. Have you learned to sing? Oh, how is the name of Jesus? I'm going to learn it today. I'm going to learn it today. Last night I was not able to. I'm going to learn to support you students. I hope I find it. If I don't find it, but I hope I'll find it. I can't miss it. Peter, thank you, sister, for your life. Thank you, Peter. Thank you so much. Oh, there's no audio. You can't hear me. Or what do you mean? Peter, what do you mean by no audio? George, are you getting me? Or is it a network issue? Oh, you can't hear me? What has happened? George, are you able to hear me? I just want to confirm that the problem is coming from my end. Or is it a network issue? Oh, it's not at all clear. Sorry. Maybe it is a network issue. So you didn't get anything that I shared, did you? I'm so sorry for that. Then I would have to redo this live stream. So I'm not clear at all. Oh my, so sorry, so sorry. Oh, you can hear me now. But did you hear anything I was sharing about vocations? Yes, no? I think it was a network issue and I didn't notice. Ukivunja moja kwa zile tano. Oh, it wasn't clear, sorry. I think I'll have to redo. No, sister, had nothing with that. Oh, you didn't hear anything, Peter. Sorry, I'm so sorry for that. I will have to redo if my audio is not that clear. So you guys are missing out on whatever I'm trying to share. I don't know if I should repeat the same thing, or will it maybe be too much? So maybe I can repeat just in brief. I was talking about the different vocations that there are in the Catholic Church. And the very first one was the vocation to marriage, where a couple decides, I'm going to leave my parents and I will be joined to my husband, or I'll be joined to my wife, and then we live together happily, for good and for worse. So there is no ground for divorce here. It is only death that can do you apart as married persons. And then I have talked about the vocation to religious life, people who live like me, either religious brothers or religious sisters. So we are bound by vows and we live within the context of a community. So we are responsible, or rather, we are accountable to one another in religious life. Then I talked about the vocation to priesthood, whereby a priest can decide to become a diocesan priest. A diocesan priest means they can only work within a particular diocese. So if it is a transfer, the priest has to be transferred from one parish to another parish within that diocese where the priest was incardinated. And then we also have priests who are living as religious people. They live like us. So for them, they are bound by the vows of chastity, poverty, and obedience. So they do not necessarily live within the context of a parish, but they live in a community like us with fellow brother priests. And they are accountable to one another. And then finally, I said there's another vocation, which is a vocation to single life. It is quite acceptable in the Catholic Church. And you have to choose to be single from the word go. If you happen to attempt marriage and then it fails, then you do not fall in that category of single vocation. That one maybe is a failed marriage also. Yeah, so those are the vocations that we have in the Catholic Church. And above all, I said, for you to decide any kind of vocation that you want to live, you have to take time. Take time to reflect. Take time to learn the person that you want to live with. If you want to become a religious, take time to learn about the congregation where you want to go and serve God as a religious person. Take time to learn them. Learn the way they do things. Learn their standards. And then that way you'll be able to tell whether you can fit into that congregation or not. That way you'll be able to make an informed decision so that by the time you are joining, you feel like this is where I belong. There's no reason to join a congregation, then you start feeling like, why did I even come here? So you are regretting because you are not happy over there. It may be because you did not take time. So in any of these vocations, you have to take time to reflect upon the vocation that you are entering into. And above all, pray, ask God to guide you. If you are looking for a partner, ask God to give you a good partner. You might just end up with a person who will bring you problems, and then you will start regretting, maybe because you did not involve God in the process. So you have to involve God in the process. I hope you've gotten something now. George Peter. By the way, have you gone to church today? Or did you choose to pray from home? During COVID-19, people were praying from home because we had a lockdown. I don't know what experience you had. Ukivunja moja kwa zile tano, umeshavunja yote 10. Ukivunja moja kwa zile tano, umeshavunja zote 10 kwa furaha. Kwa furaha tutafurahi kwenda mbinguni tukila matunda ya uzima. Oh, you are not able to go to church today. What happened? What happened that you are not able to go to church? Or you decided to sleep? Maybe you decided you just want to sleep a little more. Someone was asking me that when you become a religious, do you also have other professions? I was trying to respond to that person that it is not just enough to be a religious person. Even you people in married life, you don't just say, come, we stay, and then you are just there. At least you have something that you do to be able to sustain yourself. So the same applies to religious life. When you join religious life, you are a religious, yes, your work is to pray. And it is okay. So we pray. But then after praying, you will need to eat. So as a religious person, you also need a career that will help you to contribute to this community. Because you are a big community and there's no one who is feeding you. So you have to work hard for whatever you eat. That is why religious people also have careers. Besides being religious people are committed to prayer, they also have careers. And for our congregation, we are in different apostolates. You will find some of us working as teachers, teachers from all levels. You know, there are those who teach at kindergarten. There are those who teach in primary schools. There are those who teach in high schools, and there are those who teach in colleges and universities. So that is the teaching apostolate. And then we also have the medical apostolate. So we have sisters who are doctors, we have sisters who are nurses, those who work in the pharmacies, we have sisters who work in the health records, anything hospital, those who work in the laboratories, those who are hospital admins, etc. So we are also in that medical profession. And then we have also sisters working in the pastoral ministry. So you'll find maybe they are catechists, or these sisters have done theology. So maybe some of them are even teaching in theological schools, like seminaries also. And they are also working with Christians out there. There are those who have done maybe counseling courses. So they work in the parishes, they work in the schools, mainly in the pastoral ministry. Then we also have sisters who have done communication. So they are journalists. They do stories, and they are actually advocates, for rights of people and stuff. We also have sisters who are in the social ministry, the social workers. So they work a lot with people out there, maybe people, maybe children with disabilities. Maybe they also work with refugees and all these organizations that usually work with social workers. We also have others who work in the hospitality industry. So you'll find that there are sisters who have maybe guest houses. So there are people who come in and they need accommodation, they need food. So there are those who are in the catering industry, hospitality and stuff. Yeah. And we have many other professions where our services are needed. So as religious people, we are not just limited to staying in the convent, but we need to work with people out there. Oh, not sleeping. I was choked up with some stuff that I was to attend to. Oh, okay. Sorry for that. I hope you attended to that stuff and you are now okay. Something. God bless you, sister. Bless you too, something. Is your name something? That is interesting. Interesting to know something. Kivunja moja kwa zile tano, umeshavunja zote 10. Kivunja moja kwa zile tano, umeshavunja zote 10. Kwa furaha, kwa furaha, kwa furaha, kwa furaha, tutafurahi kwenda mbinguni, tukila matunda ya uzima. Oh yeah, I have heard something from you this morning. Yeah. I'm glad at least I've talked to you. So anything you are making decisions on, take time to reflect. Take time to learn somebody before you start committing. Otherwise, then you enter into a relationship and you are like, it is not working because you never took time to learn that person. Dynamic is asking, are you married? Okay, Dynamic, I was talking about the different vocations that we have in the Catholic Church, and my vocation is not marriage. My vocation is religious life. So I'm not married. I am a religious. I am consecrated to Jesus Christ. I am betrothed to Christ. This is my ring. I am betrothed to Christ, not to man. Yeah, so I am a religious, not married. Ukivunja moja kwa zile tano, umeshavunja yote 10. Ukivunja moja kwa zile tano, umeshavunja yote 10. Kwa furaha, kwa furaha, tutafurahi. So I said single life, sometimes people decide, I'm going to live single. And then they decide, no, I'm just going to have one kid here. And then I'll be saying, in the single vocation. That is totally different. It is it's not in line with the Catholic teaching of single vocation. The moment you have a kid, then that is not single life. It's not a single life vocation. That means you are entering into marriage. That is where people are allowed to raise their own kids who are blessed in the sacrament of matrimony. Beautiful. Sister, thanks for this. I have a question for nuns. How do they live? How do they feed since they live in the monastery? I was just saying, now for us nuns, okay, for nuns, those who live in the monastery, I think within that monastery, they do some activities. Some of them, maybe they make sacraments. There are sacraments that we consume in the Catholic Church, and most of them are made by the nuns, those who live in the monasteries. So that is kind of a source of income for them. And then I think they also do things like agriculture within the monastery. So they will plant some things and then they are able to survive out of that. But there may also be people of goodwill. So like you, if you are touched and you feel like, I need to donate to these people so that they survive, you can do that. You can support them since they spend their time within the monastery praying for the world. Why not also support them? Yeah, so they do activities that are restricted within those monasteries. You'll find that some of them maybe are also making sacramentals like rosaries, this church stuff that we usually see out there, the sacramentals. They are made in the monasteries, and that way they are able to earn a living. After all, the life of nuns is very simple. They are not so complicated. So that is how somehow they get to earn their living. So if you know people of goodwill who can support the nuns, why not support them? It's not like they depend on offertory. They do not work in a parish, so the offertory does not go to them. But if you work in a parish and you have nuns around, it would be good to also support them with the little that you have so that they continue to serve God in their ministry as nuns. And then for sisters who are maybe in active congregations, I was saying, they do work. There are those who are teachers who work in the schools. So they work, and when they get their salary doesn't go to them. It goes to a common pool. And then from that common pool, the salary supports every other sister in that convent. That is the selflessness. That is what we mean by the vow of poverty. You are earning your salary, but then you are willing to share with others. At the end of the month, you don't go to claim your salary. It goes to the common pool. You don't even receive a cent. Or if you happen to be the one receiving it, you receive it and then you submit the whole of the salary to the common pool so that it serves the needs of sisters. And the sisters have many needs: the medical needs, the education needs, the church needs, etc. Yeah, that is how we survive. And of course, people of goodwill, those who always support the causes of sisters, they come in handy. Kivunja moja kwa zile 10, umeshavunja zote 10. Ibefu, I don't know if I responded to your question, or maybe you still need more explanations. Kivunja moja kwa zile 10, umeshavunja zote 10 kwa furaha, kwa furaha. Tutafurahi kwenda mbinguni, tukila matunda ya uzima kwa furaha, kwa furaha, kwa furaha. Tutafurahi kwenda mbinguni, tukila matunda ya uzima. Sunny. Hi Sunny, how are you? Where are you joining from? You've understood. That is good to know. In case you have any other questions, just let me know and I will respond to you. Ukivunja moja kwa zile 10, umeshavunja zote 10. Ukivunja moja kwa zile 10, umeshavunja zote 10 kwa furaha, kwa furaha, kwa furaha. Tutafurahi kwenda mbinguni, tukila matunda ya uzima. Msalitumwa kule Sinai, kutuletea amri 10. Msalitumwa kule Sinai, kutuletea amri 10 kwa furaha, kwa furaha. Tutafurahi kwenda mbinguni, tukila matunda ya uzima. Kwa furaha, kwa furaha. Tutafurahi kwenda mbinguni, tukila matunda ya uzima. I think I'll be addressing other issues to do with the Catholic Church and religious life in the subsequent live streams. So I hope you stay tuned to ask the questions that you have. So what kind of vocation have you chosen for those who are following this live? Or which kind of vocations are you intending to choose? Have you taken time to reflect about the vocation that you have chosen? Have you prayed about the vocation that you are about to commit yourself to? Those are the questions that you should be asking yourself, even as you commit yourself. And if you are already in a particular vocation, are you happy? Do you feel like that is where God has called you? Some of the vocations we have chosen, once we choose, there is no reverse. You cannot get married and then after that you decide, I think this marriage is not working, so let me go and try religious life. No, that one cannot work. But if you happen to be a religious and you feel like this life is just not working for me, if it is early enough, you can choose. You can say, maybe, I think I am meant for marriage life. So from religious life to marriage life, it is possible. But from marriage life to religious life, it is impossible. You cannot leave marriage and then be admitted to religious life. That one is not accepted. One requirement for joining religious life is that you should not have attempted marriage before. So if you are thinking of serving God as a religious person, just go directly to religious life. But once you have gotten married and you want to join religious life, there is usually no reverse. You cannot come from marriage because your marriage has failed and now you say, I want to go and try the other one. No, it can't work. No, I said, I was talking about the different kind of vocations. And I said marriage is one of the vocations that is recognized in Catholic Church. So if you choose the marriage vocation, well and good. That is the marriage vocation that you have chosen. That is where you feel like God is calling you and it is absolutely right. So you can serve God as a married person. But you can also choose to serve God as a religious person. So what I was saying is, if you have already chosen the marriage vocation, and then along the way you realize, no, my marriage is not working. I'm not happy serving God here. Now, you can't say you want to reverse now and go to join now religious life as a vocation. That one is not acceptable. They will not admit you to religious life once you have attempted marriage. But if you are coming from religious life, maybe you have been discerning for a long time and you feel like, I am not called to this religious life. Let me go and try marriage. That one is acceptable. You can now go and serve God as a married person. But there are people who choose to serve God as single people. So for them, they are not choosing marriage and they are not choosing religious life. They are choosing to serve God on their own, so that they are not so much committed. They are ready to serve. Like when maybe they decide I want to go and serve as a missionary in China, there is nothing that they are bound to. They are not restricted. They'll not start thinking about maybe their children whom they have to take care of here. They will just go because they are not bound to anything. But those in marriage, you might first of all think about your husband. So you have to agree first of all, because you are a couple. You live within a family setting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if you have chosen marriage life, well and good, you can still serve God as a married person. And I said, all vocations emanate from marriage. Without marriage, we couldn't be having these other vocations. So marriage is a noble cause. It is a noble vocation. If God is calling you there and you feel like you are going to be the best wife, you are going to be the best husband, you are going to be the best parent, embrace it. Why not? We want more vocations from marriage. Sandra, I am single, modest, and only want God. I don't want a relationship with a man. Yes, that is a vocation that is recognized in the Catholic Church. So if you feel that is where God is calling you, go for it. Why not? It is recognized in the Catholic Church. Ukivunja moja ukazile tano. Janet, I hope you understood. If you are still here, I hope you understood. Umeshavunja yote kumi, ukivunja moja kwa zile tano, umeshavunja yote kumi. Tutafurahi kwenda mbinguni, tukila matunda ya uzima. tutafurahi kwenda mbinguni tukila matunda ya uzima. Msalitumwa kule Sinai kutuletea amri kumi. Msalitumwa kule Sinai. Sandra, God provides my every need and does not let me down. I'm devoting myself to Him. Go for it. Serve your God. He is faithful and will not disappoint you. Janet, if someone commits for the religious vocation and serves God for some time and leaves, goes back to marry that person wrong, or has he or she committed sin? Janet, I was saying, for one to become a religious, it really takes time. After going through formation, maybe for around 4 years or so, someone is allowed to take vows temporarily. They take vows temporarily for a period of time, maybe for another 6 years. So during that period, the period of 6 years, or maybe from the time they are in the formation house, being trained to become religious, if someone feels like this is not where God is calling me, that person is free to just approach the superiors and tell them, I feel like this is not the kind of life that God has called me to. So I beg to leave. And if that person feels like now they want to go and get married, it's absolutely right. If they have already taken vows and they feel like this is not where God is calling them, they had just taken the vows temporarily, they can be dispensed from the vows. So then, after they are dispensed from the vows, they can be allowed to get married. It is not a sin at all. It is just a decision that they have made. They feel like, okay, I'm here trying to serve God as a religious, but maybe I am not as faithful as I am supposed to be. So I feel like this is not where I belong. So instead of continuing to suffer there in silence and you feel like this is not where God is calling me, you are free to rest, to be dispensed from the vows, and then you go and get married. No one is stuck on anywhere in religious life. If you feel like this is not where you are called, it is a continuous discernment process. So if along the way you feel like God is not calling me here, you are free to leave. You can go and get married officially. Not a sin. But usually there are integral vows for some time. Maybe after 6 years, now somebody commits to perpetual vows. Once they take perpetual vows, very easy for that person to leave. It's not very easy, but if for some reason or another you still feel like I want to leave, it is okay, but it will take long for you to be dispensed from the vows before marriage also. So if you are in temporal vows, it is much easier dispensed from the vows. But once you are a final member, it takes time to be dispensed from the vows. But you can after final profession. So what you do, you request to be dispensed from the vow, and then you can leave. If you find happiness in marriage, go and get married. No one is doing that. Bless you, my sister. Thank you, Sandra. Ring from India. Nice to meet you, Shimon Mary. Okay, that's good. I now understand you have answered my query properly. Thank you. I sometimes see some fathers. It is a discernment process, and it's there until you are dead. You never know. So it may come a time when you feel so you can decide. You can decide, and it is absolutely okay. It is not a sin. I know that is a notion that many people hear. When you join religious life and then you leave, it is a sin. Bad things are going to happen to you. Now, anyway, bad things may happen if you run away and you are not dispensed from the vows. If you are bound, you are living another kind of life, it's like a clash. It's like you are living double standards. But if you are dispensed from the vows, then you are a free person and you can live the life that you choose after that. Sister, can you tell us the meaning of your song? It's nice. Oh, the song I was singing, it only means the Church of Christ will stand to the end of times. Moses was sent to the mountains to bring us the commandments, the 10 commandments that guide us in the church. And when you break one of the 10 commandments, it's like you have broken all of them, because the commandments are interconnected. So if you break one of them, it's like you have broken all the 10. And that is basically what the song says. So do not choose to live, to be faithful to some commandments, and then you are breaking the other commandments left, right, and center. So that is basically it. But above all, the Church of Christ will stand to the end of times. No matter what, the storm may come, toss the church up and down, but it will always stand because it was founded on Christ. Otherwise, serving God with commitment is joyful because you only please God and nothing else can obstacles you. Let your decisions be protected. Yeah, it is good to serve God. Serve God in whatever vocation He has called you and be happy there. God will also be happy with you. Discern. Above all, keep discerning, keep praying for God's graces, because each and every kind of vocation that we choose comes with its own share of challenges. If you choose marriage life has its own challenges. If I choose religious life, it comes with its own challenges. There is no one who is living in heaven. We are all living on this world, and we are living with fellow human beings. I know at some times we can even cross because of one reason or the other, because of our different personalities, because of our different backgrounds, our different upbringing. At one point, we will disagree because even our thinking is quite different. I don't think the way you, Janet, think. Our thinking is quite different. So because of that, from time to time, we may clash. It is okay to clash, but it is not okay to stay in that situation for long. When you clash, there is always reconciliation. Sit down, talk to one another, find out what made you to clash, and then reconcile. We are human beings. We can make mistakes, but always embrace forgiveness. Forgiveness is what keeps us going. But we can't say we are angels, so we are good all the time. We are just good. No, we cannot be good all the time. There will come a time when you will be very angry with your friend, with your partner, with your community member. You will be very angry, but don't stay in that anger. Don't stay with that anger for so long. Get to sit down, talk to one another, and then life will be good. Life continues. That is how we survive. Otherwise, you can't say there is a life that is very good and there are no challenges. That will be a lie. Challenges are everywhere, but we learn to coexist despite the challenges that we encounter. Do you ever think going to a contemplative order like Carthusian? Recommend videos, Monjas, especially from 2025. Oh, okay. For me personally, I don't think, at this moment, I don't think I am called to the contemplative order. I think I'm a people's person, and I want to be out here also interacting with the people, not just closed behind the confines of the convent. But maybe at some point in life, I can choose to live as a contemplative. But at the moment, I am happy being an active religious person. We work among the people, for the people of God, and I think I'm happy being in the active congregation, not the contemplative one. Once in a while, we always find time also to close ourselves up. Maybe when we have our annual retreats, we retreat. You go away from the people so that you have your moment with God, maybe for a week or so. There are congregations like the Jesuits who do the 30-day retreat. So for them, they will retreat maybe for 30 days. You are just there with the Lord. You are alone. It's like you are a contemplative at that moment. So yes, maybe during such moments, the retreat moments, the recollection moments, every third Sunday of the month, we usually have our recollection moments, our time for prayer, where we just retreat and we are there with the Lord. So that is the way I practice my contemplative bit of religious life. Otherwise, I'm happy being an active religious, active in the active religious congregation. I'm very happy there. Beautiful, beautiful meaning. Amen to it. Amen. Okay, sister, I understand. Differences are there in life. Only overcoming them with the help of God is the best one. Life continues. Yeah, life continues. You cannot run away from differences. They will happen at one time. Even the person who was the best of friends, there will come a time when this person is no longer your friend, and then you are like, okay, I thought we are best friends forever. What happened? It will happen. But you have to learn to let go. You have to learn to let go and let God. Let go and let God. Learn to reconcile. Don't keep grudges. Let things go. If you keep grudges, you are the one who is hurting. Whoever hurt you does not know that you are hurting deep within. So learn to let go. It is not easy, but it is the best medicine for us, living our different kinds of vocations. That is how we survive. Kanisa la Bwana litasimama wakati wote wa shetani. Kanisa la Bwana litasimama. Someone, I'm going to check out that video. Let me note it here so that I check it out. But I love the way the contemplatives live. When I was just joining religious life, we actually joined, we were taken to Uganda, the eastern part of Uganda, that is in Tororo. The very first year that I joined, around July, we were taken there. Then during our formation there, we happened to attend a profession of the contemplatives. Hey, and I felt like, okay, these people seem to live in a totally different world. When you are there, you feel like, wow, I think it feels like you are in some sort of heaven or something. Just the experience I had at that profession, I was like, wow, it is a different world altogether. It is a beautiful vocation. It is a beautiful vocation to live as a contemplative. I think it's like you are in a totally different world. And most of the time when you visit these contemplative religious, you will rarely come in close contact with them. There is always a barrier. Even in their chapel, there is always a barrier. So The other people will sit on that side, and then for them, they'll sit on the other side. Then you can just be talking to them from a distance. It is a special calling, and not everyone can actually manage. It is a special calling. You like your congregations only that it's too late to join you. Oh, it is too late to join us. Maybe you chose another different kind of vocation, or what do you mean it's too late? Have you chosen marriage, or have you chosen to live as a single person, or have you already joined another congregation? All in all, we do wish you well wherever you are. The most important thing is serving God and being happy serving God, not being there and regretting. Learn to appreciate wherever God has placed you. He has a reason. So if you find yourself there, appreciate and move on. Make life. If it is a lemon, make lemonade out of your lemons. Add some sugar, make it sweet. Such is life. Ukivunja moja kwa zile 10, umeshavunja zote 10. Ukivunja moja kwa zile 10, umeshavunja zote 10. Kwa furaha, kwa furaha, kwa furaha tutafurahi kwenda mbinguni, tukila matunda ya uzima. Kwa furaha, kwa furaha, kwa furaha tutafurahi kwenda mbinguni, tukila matunda ya uzima. Msalitumwa kule Sinai kutuletea amri 10. So I'll be addressing other issues as we go along. And I want to wish all of you a blessed Sunday afternoon. Some of you, maybe it's a Sunday morning. Yeah, wherever you are, I want to wish you all the best. And in case you have any questions about our today's topic, feel free to leave a comment and I will address your question. Otherwise, I wish you all the best in whatever vocation you have chosen. May the Lord guide you. May He protect you. May He grant you the graces to tolerate. If you are in marriage, may God grant you the graces to tolerate your partner, to tolerate your kids if you have some. If you are in religious life, may God grant you the grace to tolerate your community members, to tolerate the people that you encounter in your apostolates. Bye-bye.